Hi, my name is Tanya and welcome to my small backyard vegetable garden here in central Victoria. This little lemon tree has so much fruit on it that it always surprises me just how much fruit I can get off it. The last couple of wet years I haven't had too much fruit, but this year it has performed back to its normal self, and I think it is called Lots of Lemons. It's a pot version and I absolutely love it. It doesn't take up much room. As you can see, it's tiny and it's looking a little sad, so it needs some love. So I'm going to pick all the fruit off it and give it a good weed because it's very hard to get in and weed. It's in a little raised bed there where it is, which you'll see more of when I cut back this garden bed. All the herbs are here planted around it, and it sort of needs probably some mulching and a good feed and some compost putting around it, ready to go again in the warmer weather. Two baskets, I think that is pretty good for a tiny little space that it takes up. I picked them off because Mrs. Possum comes down and nibbles into them if I don't. I have a fair bit of planting I want to get done today. These seedlings and the few markdown things that I picked up at Bunnings. The night is closing in. It is extremely cold. I know in my last video I said it had a feels like temperature of 1 degrees. Today is feeling colder. I got out a new pair of gardening gloves because I knew my old ones weren't going to be as warm as some new ones. That is how cold it is. My hands are freezing. I'm just adding some coffee grounds to the compost bins. I've done a bit of work on them a couple of days ago. I got my hands on some stable mulch and horse manure. So hopefully when I go to empty them, part of this will be composted and ready to go on the bed. If not, it can go back into the compost and it can be the base for a fresh compost bin. I bought these onions and garlic a couple of weeks ago from Bunnings. I have not grown any of these. I am at the moment trialing all these different types of things just to see which one I am going to like growing. Planting seedling onions has been a trial and I'm not sure I want to go that way or keep going that way. I would love to find a perennial onion or maybe these potato onions, maybe a better option. I'm not sure, but anyway, these are all going to go into the new bed. I've got potato onions, I've got the shallots, and I've got some white crookneck garlic, and they have started shooting, so they need to be planted. I'm just making sure I read all the instructions and checking that all are okay before I take them down to the garden bed. And then when I have all my seedlings and these onions, I can then place out the bed and make sure I have enough space for everything. I do also have some Egyptian walking onions on their way to me from a lovely lady in Tasmania. I found them on Facebook and they are only the bulbs, but I will be very excited to get some of those planted. So here are all the things I need to get planted into this new fresh garden bed. The bed is lovely and warm. I think it's about 20 degrees, 22 degrees. And hopefully that will kick things along and get them growing quite fast. The rainbow chard that I planted in my last video is looking extremely happy in the bed, so that is a good sign. I'm just adding the last of my terracotta edging around this end of the bed with a few pots up the other end. I can then put a net over these smaller things, and between the edging and the pots, it will keep the net up off the tiny plants. These are the purple sprouting broccoli that I picked up at Bunnings for 50 cents a pot. So I'm going to squish them in around here, and even if one survives, I will be extremely happy. I can't see why I can't get something off all of them, but we'll wait and see. This bed is going to be very full. I just removed the net off the trenched beetroot. They are looking a little happier now. Not as happy as the clumps of beetroot that I transplanted into here, but they are sparking up a little bit. I netted it because I did not want the birds getting into the trench and kicking them all out of the dirt. So I'm going to add them around here. Hopefully by the time the broccoli up the other end is finished, then this will be ready to go, and then I can remove the broccoli from the other end of the vegetable garden beds 1 and 2, I'm going to name them. And that will be the place where I plant my tomatoes. I know I planted tomatoes there last summer or last spring, but it is a warmer, more protected area in summer up there to get them going. And down this end, it seems for winter, it gets more sun. This is the first year I am planting into these garden beds, so it is definitely a learning time for me planting here, but I think that is what's going to work. Well, it's going to have to, because I've planted late things in here. So it's going to have to work. And then eventually, as the planting seasons come and go, I will work out some sort of system. I'm very happy to see more cosmic purple carrots coming up, and no parsnips as yet, but I have, I think, some spring onions coming up. They don't look like the grass that had been coming through, so fingers crossed they will be coming up all along there. Although I would love for the parsnips to germinate there. If they don't, I am not too worried, because I need somewhere to put the turnips that I sowed into the seed snails. So if the parsnips don't come up, the turnips will go in. And just as a trial, because the fourth garden bed hadn't been filled, I did sow some more cosmic purple carrots into a seed snail, and I have that sitting on my gas hot water tank just to see if I can get them to germinate, and then I may just clump plant them through this end of the garden beds. I know it is best to direct sow them, but I thought just on the odd chance I have a spare packet of seeds, I may as well try it. After all, I see a lot of punnets of carrots being sold at you know where, and just maybe because of the seed snail, the root of the carrots can go straight down. It might be okay, but I won't know unless I try. So I'm just going ahead and spacing out all these onions and making sure if I need to cover them, then I'm just got the frame there, so I plant them all within the space of the frame. If not, I'm planting the garlic just up from this, so I will move the frame along and cover the garlic. I'm not sure how the birds are going to go, so we shall wait and see. What I am also going to plant here is the elephant garlic that I had put into a pot probably a month ago. It has come up through the soil, and I'm getting those planted in here so that they have more space to grow. They have a very good root system. I'm surprised to see so many roots wrapped round and round the pot. So it's a good thing that I'm getting them out of here and into a bit more space where they can dig their roots down a little deeper. I'm trying really hard not to damage any of them, just shaking the soil off them, and hopefully that won't push them back too far and they can keep growing in this nice warm bed. I was surprised to see so many worms in this pot. It is full of worms, this soil. So I'm going to try and spread them out so they can get down into the soil and start working their magic in this garden bed.